Hello, everybody. Welcome to Drive Thru. I'm your host, Tony T, as we broadcast live here on Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place YouTube channel and throughout social media. We'll get you out here well before the top of the hour. Give you guys enough time to get those bets in for primetime games. That's what we do here in the Drive Thru Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time is our live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us here for today. All right, with us, Mitch will be joining us soon. We got Sean Murphy with us, Big Al McMordie, Chris Ruffolo, Ninos, and Arad Zawacky. Here's how they'll line up for this evening. Ruffolo, McMordie, Ninos, Murphy, Zawacky, Mitch, and then I will close this one out. All right, a good card here from the NBA. 12-game card. Got some NHL also on the board, baseball game. And, of course, we've got the, in action right now. Philly's still up 4-2 on the Padres, 2 outs, bottom of the fourth there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But we got a lot of NBA on the show tonight. So let's get this one underway. And let's go ahead and welcome in Chris Ruffolo. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium, as well as, well, he's also part of the morning crew every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's bring in Chris right now. Chris, what's happening? Oh, Chris, I got you on the mute.
There we go.
There we go.
Didn't want to be didn't want to be heavy breathing the mic while Tony was doing the intro, but now I'm happy. NBA season finally here. Tons of action. This is sort of the time of year that we live for, Tony.
It certainly is, right? All these games, sports overlapping. It's amazing here. I just heard the college basketball is a little more than 3 weeks away, so it's good. It's getting close here. But we're going to look at this one tonight here. Hawks and the Rockets. The Hawks laying 10. The total sits here at 234.5. But you'll be looking at a player prop in this one.
Yeah, well, so you're already giving me nightmares about writing 30 articles on a Friday night. But anyways, we're looking at this one, and the Houston Rockets. They had a bit of a tumultuous offseason, but they made one of the more head-scratching moves, in my opinion, for a team that wants to take a step forward. They shipped out Christian Wood to the Dallas Mavericks, got some nice pieces in return, but the one piece that I think is most important for the Rockets, I'm glad they held on to, is Jalen Green. I think with Wood out of the picture now, Green, who already took a heavy, step forward in the final games of last year's regular season, I think he's only going to get better. And you look at what Jalen Green did over the last 9 games of the season last year. 8 of those last 9 games, he had at least 4 3-pointers. This was a guy that was averaging 29 points per game over those last 9 games, even with an 8-point clunker kind of thrown in there near the very end. But like I said, he's shooting the ball a lot more. He was shooting with confidence. And like I said, 4 or more threes made in 8 of those last 9 games against this Hawks defense. I expect him to pick up right where he left off. I think you're getting a great price on over 3.5 threes made. I think it's around plus 140. I could even push it up to over 4.5. I could easily see 5 or 6 threes made here. I think that was sitting around plus 300. But my play here for the drive-through, Jalen Green over 3.5 threes made.
All right, we got from Chris here, Jalen Green over 3.5 3-point shots made here at plus 140. Yeah, you're looking at a Rockets team making moves here. I think it's just trying to change the culture over there. This is a team that just really down here. And an issue there, a lot of it is, they have a lot of shooters, but the defense just isn't there at all.
No, and that's unfortunately what you're going to be seeing from a lot of these young teams that are in the rebuild mode. They think they can just beat teams with offense, but at a certain point, you got to play defense as well. And I think you're right, Tony. I think there's going to be some growing pains from the Rockets in that regard. But again, they do have some solid pieces. They've got Jalen Green. They've got Şengün. They've got some great players that are going to be something within the next couple of years. I think this Rockets team, maybe we're going to talk down 2025. This could be a team that we're going to talk about maybe being a dark horse for the playoffs. But right now, like I said, the growing pains, and like you said, especially defensively, but that's where Green's going to come in the shooting.
Green is shooting, of course. What are you looking at as far as minutes tonight? A lot of time on the court, obviously.
Yeah, and see, it's hard because I know some teams are going to be playing on a back-to-back sooner rather than later, but I honestly see Jalen Green being given the keys to the car and just letting loose. I mean, yeah, this is a Rockets team that you're only going to get better as as you get those minutes on the floor, get the playing time in, and it's not like he's like 37, 38 years old and we got to worry about load management for this guy. He's in his early 20s. He should be able to, had a full offseason, had a full preseason, should be able to go at least 35 minutes.
Yeah, you got Porter, Green, Gordon, Smith, and Sengun here. In the starting 5, the shooting guard is Green, so expect a lot of shots. Of course, a lot of pace. You want the pace because when you have a lot of pace, there'll be a lot more shots. and they'll get you over 3.5 3-point shots made here at plus 140. This one will have a start time here of 7:40 Eastern time. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium here for tonight's action. Of course, the NBA has begun here, a big 12-game card here on the board, as well as a handful here from the NHL. We do have a baseball game up there as well. College football, the Sun Belt on Wednesday has a pretty good matchup as well. So lots going on. Chris, you're doing fantastic work here. 1,422 units of profit over the last 30 days. This is all documented over at Pick Dogs. You can verify those numbers by going over to Chris's handicapper page down to Pick History. All right, Chris, what do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
That's when I still got my $15 NBA whale bet for tonight, as well as my Windmill Wednesday 3-pack for the NBA. Also got an NHL power play up for $25 as well. If you want the best bang for your buck, I implore everybody, check out 3-day pass, because right now it's going to get you, NHL, it's going to get you whatever plays I put out for Thursday night football. It's going to be, Friday college football, NBA action, Saturday loaded NHL card, a loaded college football card. And if we get the plays in early enough, maybe we'll get in the college football, the NFL for Sunday on Saturday night. But the best value goes long term, a 7-day, 30-day, whether you pair me up with someone else, part of the 2-1 capper promotion, or you go with me solo. Whatever you choose to do, use that promo code 15 off, get 15% off your purchase. But tons of options for you over at Pick Dogs Premium. Yeah,
lots of options over there, guys. Get on board here with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. You see the numbers here. You can verify all those numbers there. 1,420 units of profit over at Pick Dogs. Guaranteed. Also, Chris today, he's got that $15 whale bet up there. He's been doing great work with that $15 premium, so get on board with that one, as well as Chris's Windmill Wednesday NBA 3-pack up there. So 3-pack, of course, these individual plays and these 3-packs are all credit guarantee, meaning they must turn a profit or the amount you purchase is accredited back in your account. That is credit guarantee. Also, individual plays up there from Chris as well. But here we are on a Wednesday, and of course with the NBA season here in day 2 of the start of the NBA season, maybe a good time to try out Chris here with the 7-day all sports pass, because in that 7 days you get a lot of coverage here from Chris. You'll get all of his NBA here for 7 days, as well as NFL. We have NFL here Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, as well as action here from the NHL. We got college football Wednesday through Saturday this week. And of course, we talked about the hockey as well. So lots of action here on that 7-day all sports pass. You can even go longer. Of course, whatever you use the promo code 15 off at checkout, and you'll save 15% off. You can also add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion. Even greater value there. All right, Chris, as always, great having you on the show. Of course, keep up that great work up there atop the leaderboards. And I know you also do a lot over at Pick Dogs. We check out your videos every night. You're part of the morning crew. And, of course, the Puck Dogs, you and Rod with those hockey video picks.
Yeah, we're doing hockey videos. We were just doing some before we came on to the drive-thru. Hammering out 12-game card for tomorrow. So tons of content's going to be up very, very shortly. But always having a good time coming on the drive-thru as well. And Tony, I got to ask you, because Mitch and I were talking about it this morning. He's not a fan of Amazon Prime, these Thursday night games. What do you think about the Black Friday game coming in 2023?
I said this before, I'll always say it. Bad football is better than no football, right? And I don't have the volume up, so it doesn't matter to me. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 8 TVs around me. I have about 5 tablets in front of me. Listen, that game was a snoozer. But you know what entertained me on that night, on Monday night, was the Wild and the Avalanche. That's what entertained me that night. That was a fun hockey game to watch.
I'm telling you, NHL doesn't get the credit it necessarily should. I've always stood by this. But you know what? I get it. Hockey not for everybody, but Tony will tell you. Some of those NHL games, the way the Kings have been playing, too, out of the gate, they'll tell you. They've been lighting it up, and it's going to be a great season to watch. Tons of goals are going to be coming in the NHL this season.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get. You know what you're getting from Denver. But, that's the whole idea. There's other options out there. Thank goodness for the NBA. Thank you, NHL, for not being afraid of football and scheduling 9 games. That made it a lot easier to stomach that Monday night game.
Oh, man. And we were talking about 4th time this season in, 7 weeks or 6 weeks that we've had Denver in the primetime slot. We're going to have them again, I think, in December. But, man, this is the time of year where I think you'd wish you could flex some of these teams out a little bit sooner.
It's all about information gathering. Put the entertainment in your back pocket and just gather the information for that next bet, guys. That's how you're going to look at these games. All right, Chris, keep up the great work. We'll talk with you again next week.
Thanks, Tony. See you later.
We'll see you later. We got Chris Ruffolo here on the drive to. Let's continue on here on the show. Speaking of information gathering, let's bring in Big Al McMordie. If I'm over at Pick Dogs Prim, top leaderboards here for the 2022 season. Again, Big Al, what's happening?
Not much. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm doing great. Nice warm weather out here in Southern California, hitting the fall here. Still summer, but anyway, tonight, your Spurs are in action here as they'll be hosting the Hornets. They were dogs overnight, but now they're back to a pick'em here with a total 221.5.
Yeah, LaMelo Ball's not going to play for the Hornets, so you've seen some movement on San Antonio. I agree with the movement. I didn't understand why San Antonio was a home underdog to begin with. I mean, I understand that they're probably going to be the worst team in the league, this year. I think their win total is 21.5 wins or thereabout. But this is a really good situation for them. First game of the year. They've won 13 straight home openers. They're 10-2 and a push over those 13 games. Going back further, they're 27-5 straight up their last 32 home openers. Charlotte in its road openers, 3-11 straight up, 4-9-1 ATS. I like the Spurs in this pick'em game.
All right, we got Big Al here on the Spurs on this pick'em game here in this one. Yeah, we got the coaching change over with the Hornets to Clifford. I didn't think there was problems with Charlotte. They made the playoffs. They had some some pretty good shooters over there. I kind of scratched my head when I found out they had fired the coach.
Yeah, but I think it's a good move. Clifford was always one of my favorite coaches in the game, so I'm glad to see him back with Charlotte. I think he'll do well there. And on the other side of it, Greg Popovich, what is this now? His 27th season, I think, as head of the Spurs. So, who knows if he'll ever retire.
Yeah, well, if Pete Carroll can try and rebuild a team, so can Pop. I guess he's got to be up for a year trying to rebuild this Spurs team. Spurs are to pick them against the Hornets. This one to have a start time here of 8 Eastern time. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Pin for tonight's action. Great results here for 2022 here. 2,407 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs. So you can verify those numbers by going to Al's handicapper page and going down to pick history. All right, we got a big board tonight from the NBA, 12-game card, handful of NHL, baseball playoff game, a college football game. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I've got a nice play in the NBA to kick off my NBA season I passed yesterday. Over the last 2 years in basketball, I'm up 80.85 net games after the juice. So I've been really good in basketball the last few years. If folks want to join for a year or for a month, and I've got a baseball play still to go today. Looking ahead for the NFL, I've got I'm going to have a lot of strong plays, but one of which will be my strongest NFL play of the season to date. So it looks to be a really strong NFL card on Sunday.
That's right, guys. Again, we're Big Al McMordie. You see the numbers, 2,407 units of profit, all documented tonight. Get on board here with Big Al's Elite Info NBA action here for you right now. Credit guarantee on these individual plays, one from the baseball playoffs, one from the NBA. And, of course, as Al was mentioning, maybe the long term would serve you really well. Here we are on October 19th, less than a month away from college basketball as well. That 1 month all sports pass may be a really good value there. You get all of Big Al's premium plays for a month, all of his baseball plays until the end of the World Series, all of his NFL, all his college football, NBA, NHL, of course. College basketball is in action here on the 7th here of November, so we're counting on it. So more sports. It is getting sports overload. Thank goodness he's got that database there helping him out. But I'll tell you right now, it's a lot of work coming up here in the next weeks. But that long-term pass is the way to go. 15 off is a promo code. You'll save 15% off at checkout with that 1 month all sports pass. And of course, you can add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion. Even greater value there. All right, Big Al, is always great to have on your show. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. But I know you just completed the NFL show with you, Mitch, and Jay.
Yeah, it was a great show today. We talked about every one of the NFL games for the season now. If folks have been watching all of our NFL shows, my picks are now 61-31 with a couple pushes. So it's been extremely profitable as well. And we do it every Wednesday. And of course, it's archived throughout the week. So you can get selections from Mitch, Jay, and myself on every NFL game.
That's right, guys. Check it out on the archive right now over at Pick Dogs. Once the live shows are done, they're immediately archived. The NFL show, Mitch, Jay, and Big Al. Right, Big Al, have yourself a great evening, and we'll talk again tomorrow.
Thanks, Tony. Talk to you on Thursday.
You got it. Big Al McMordie here on the drive through. Let's continue on. Seeing a lot of people signing, a lot of NBA on the show tonight, guys. If any of you missed our picks, we'll do a recap at the end of the show. Let's continue on. on the drive-thru. It is now time to welcome in Ninos to the show. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Pretty good start to the NHL season for El Ninos. He was the top of the leaderboard last year in the NHL. So we'll bring in El Ninos in right now. El, what's happening?
Going good, Tony. How are you doing?
Doing well. All right, you're going NBA tonight. We got your pick in late. I believe you were looking at the Nuggets and Jazz.
Yeah, sorry about that, Tony. Pretty interesting matchup here. Nuggets coming in pretty big favorites, but and maybe rightfully so. They are the better team on paper. They have the more talented players. Definitely have the better center going. The Jazz got rid of Gobert, so they're gonna miss his defensive presence. Obviously, it looks like Kelly Olynyk will be getting the start, and very different type of center here. Definitely more of a shooting center rather than defensive center. So it should be interesting to see this new look for the Jazz here without that big defensive presence in the middle. And I do expect Jokic to have a big game here. However, we did see Walker Kessler with a pretty impressive defensive performance in the preseason. He got 4 blocks in his last game, and so maybe him coming off the bench will give him a bit of what they've been missing there in the middle. Again, if you look at the guards here, obviously Jamal Murray, Denver Nuggets pretty healthy here. Jamal Murray is a great point guard, but on the other side, Mike Conley is a very good point guard as well. Colin Sexton's also a very good guard. They got Lauri Markkanen at the small forward. You could argue Michael Porter may be the more versatile one, but Markkanen a very good player nonetheless. And you could give the edge to the Nuggets here, but I think the Jazz do have just enough to keep this one within this number. We're getting 7 points here. I'm seeing 6.5 in some places. So go ahead and grab the best number you can find, but anywhere over 6 points, I like the Jazz here.
All right, Ninos here's liking the Jazz in this one. Let's see, you're looking at 7 right now on this one. There has been some downward movement here. I guess they're respecting here the Jazz at home. But again, the Jazz is a team here without, you're losing Mitchell, you're losing Gobert. You're at home. That may have something to do with it, but this Nuggets team is loaded. I mean, you're getting your Porter Jr. back, Murray back. I mean, when Ish Smith is your like third team backup guard, I mean, you're loaded. You're loaded here with guard play. The question is, how deep, how long will these players go? Will the Nuggets go with their starters, right? Jokic and company. I mean, when they're Jokic and Murray on together, they're potent. I was looking at some numbers here. When Murray and Jokic are on the court together, the team is averaging 125 points per 100 possessions. This is the team that I think definitely has finals potential. The Nuggets.
Yeah, they definitely do, and I mean, again, with these reshuffled lineups, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, and an injury to any team can definitely shake things up as well. We have a few teams I think they're looking good, but the Nuggets definitely looking like one of the better teams in the league this year. Again, as long as they stay healthy, right? And I do like them to win this game. I just don't feel comfortable laying this many points, as you said, early in the season. We already heard Steve Kerr. He said he didn't want to play his starters too much early in the season. Could be a philosophy other teams adopt. Who knows? But again, it's still early.
No, with that Laker bench, you don't have to play. You don't have to play your starters that long. I mean, that's
the Warriors. Sorry, did I say that?
The Warriors. No. I know the Warriors. I just look when you look at the competition. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the margin of victory, just look at the bench scoring. That was a difference. That's going to be the case all the time with the Lakers.
Yeah, I think he meant for early in the season, not just for game one. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I was kind of making a joke in there about, I don't need to play my starters because we're playing the Lakers in game one. That's why you don't need to play your starters a whole lot. But anyway, the Lakers have a really good starting five. Their starting five is good against anybody. But again, they're going to get outscored every night when the bench. Just look at the bench scoring. And that's how much harder these starting five are going to have to play, because they're going to have to make up deficits, because you're going to see huge deficits. It was a double-digit deficit. I think it was like 14 or 15 points with the bench scoring difference between the Warriors and Lakers. You're going to see a lot of that this year. This is the weakest I've ever seen the Lakers bench and ever since watching the team.
I'm not very impressed with the starting lineup either. I mean, we got LeBron and Anthony Davis, but...
Yeah, you throw in Beverly. I count Westbrook as a bench guy. He'll be a bench guy, is who I count. But none they threw on the bench too. But I just think with Beverly starting over Westbrook, I think I prefer that rotation better. If you put Beverly in there, get rid of Westbrook, you got a decent starting five.
Yeah, I mean Beverly. I don't mind Beverly. I like the way at least he used to play defense, and again, not the youngest player in the league, and again, that's a big problem for the Lakers. But I guess I'll take Beverly over a lot of other point guards. But I don't know. Again, still think they have a lot of work to do. The starting
tonight
lineup, and definitely
you're going to need a lot of scoring out of Markin and Colin Sexton. Remember, they're the no new additions here for the Utah Jazz. The Jazz is going to have the newest look of any team. You're not going to recognize it. It's going to be a totally different look. It's going to be a little bit of a culture shock when you watch the Jazz on the court. Markin and Colin Sexton, a very young bench. You know what Danny Ainge is doing over there. He's doing what he did in Boston, the old Tankapalooza there with these guys. But anyway, +7 here with Utah. It's at least it's not. I won't do this after the All-Star break, but maybe good to do it here in Game 1 with the Utah Jazz. And this one will have a start time here. It's a Midwest game. We expected about 9 Eastern time or so. Got the pick in from late. Didn't have the graphic for L. But anyway, L. Let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium. He is on the Jazz +7. Let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium for tonight. Al is showing a good profit over the last 7 days, 694 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs. Huge card tonight, 12 games from the NBA. We got that baseball playoff game 1 of the ALCS between the Astros and the Yankees. We got that Sunbelt football as well. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Yeah, a lot of action going on tonight. So I do have a 3-pack, my best NBA, college football, and NHL. Then I also have them all individually as well. I have a 3-point in the NBA, a 3-pack in the NBA, a 3-pack in the NHL. And I do have a play on that baseball game tonight as well, so that's sold individually as well. Best way to go is definitely grabbing one of those long-term passes if you want to get all the plays, or if you're just looking for one of those packages, go ahead and check those out.
Yeah, get on board here with Ninos over at Pick Dogs Premium. So good results here over the last 7 days. Also showing profit the last 30 days, 362 units of profit. So get on board with El Ninos. He's back with the alphabet, so you have to now with all these sports overlapping. Is NBA, college football, NHL best bets all in one pack. His 3-pack, he calls it his alphabet. So get on board there. Of course, these single day packages and these individual plays are sold with credit guarantee. They must turn a profit, or the amount you purchase is credit back in your account. That's credit guarantee. So the 3-pack there is his featured package right now over at Pick Dogs. A lot of these plays are sold individually as well. So you can check it out there over at Pick Dogs. And we've talked about the long-term passes. Al's been running hot right now. A really good NHL record already to start the season. Top unit producer in the NHL, so you may consider his NHL season pass. Or if you want to try him out for a 30-day pass, now with all these sports overlapping, that 30-day Al Sports Pass will get you all of Al's premium plays here from the remainder of the baseball playoffs, as well as NFL college football. We've got the NBA in action, NHL, and of course, college basketball. November 7th. It's getting closer and closer to Halloween. I will predict Halloween will be the tip-off date for college basketball in the near future, and that will always be the starting date because it's perfect to have El Ninos. It's perfect to have all those kids in campus in their Halloween costumes to kick off college basketball. That would be pretty cool, I think.
Why not? As long as the players aren't wearing masks, we should be good.
That would be pretty good, right? Yeah, so anyway, that's getting closer and closer to that Halloween tip-off. I'd love to see Halloween tip-off in college basketball. All right. El Ninos, keep up with our great work, and we'll talk with you again tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Tony. Have a good one.
You got El Ninos here on the drive through. Guys, if you miss our picks, we'll do a recap at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Mitch may help me out with that. Let's go over to Sean Murphy, who's been killing it right now in college football. If I'm over at Pick Dogs Premium, also contributes a lot now to the weekend show, so you guys can tune in and get some of Sean's picks on the weekend with really a sharp analysis from Sean Murphy on those Saturday and Sunday show, as he does here on the Wednesday drive-through. So let's go ahead and welcome in Sean Murphy. We'll get to Sean here in a second. Here we go, Sean. Sean, what's happening?
Hey, Tony. Good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, here we go. 7:40 Eastern time. We have the Hawks here hosting the Rockets team here, with the Hawks laying double digits now, -10, total 234.5.
Yeah, so I'm going to look at the total in this game. It's the highest total on the board tonight, the 12 games, and so we're seeing the number in the low 230s. I think we're up around 233.5 now. I think that high total is warranted here in this spot. You and Chris talked about the Rockets a little bit earlier on, and they did little in the offseason to improve their defense. We know what we're going to get with this team from last year. You talk a little bit about pace, and this is a team that last season was giving up, regularly like 95 to 100 field goal attempts per game to its opponents. So I don't really see anything changing here. You look back to the preseason, which I don't often put too much stock in the preseason, but I think in the NBA it is warranted to kind of look at some of these pace of some of the teams in the preseason, because a lot of times it does carry over to the regular season. And the Rockets, they allowed 94 plus field goal attempts in 3 of their 4 preseason games. But on the other side of that, their offense actually worked all right. I think the youth can work for them here this year. I mean, in those 4 preseason games, they knocked down 53, 38, 41, 42 field goals. So, they were a fairly exciting team to watch last year, especially down the stretch. They lose Christian Wood, obviously that hurts, but I think they can still put up some pretty good numbers here offensively this season. You go to the other side, Atlanta, of course, they made the big splash by bringing in DeJounte Murray from San Antonio. He's going to help them out defensively. I think the big thing with that is I think he can kind of take some of the pressure off of Trae Young defending here, and I think that really opens up Trae Young to just go off offensively here this year. 3 of their 4 preseason games, they allowed 95-plus field goal attempts to their opponents, so they were playing at a pretty fast pace as well. And also in 3 of those 4 preseason games, they made good on 42-plus field goal attempts. So I think this one's set up as a track meet, just like the total says, and we'll go over that total of 233.5. I think when I sent it along earlier today, it was 232.5. So it was 233. I think it's up to 234.5 now. So we're looking at an even higher number, and we'll still go over. I think we see the Hawks get up into the high 120s here at least.
Yeah, do your shopping. There's some 234.5s. There's even some 235s, and can you believe it? I'm already seeing 235.5s up there. So this one is skyrocketing upwards, and of course you got a lot of youth on this Rockets team. You got a rookie, in Jabari Smith in the starting lineup. So when you hear rookie and you hear day 1 of the NBA, you think, well, where's the defense going to come from? These young kids throwing right into it against this Hawks team. When you're staring down with Young and Murray. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough on these Rockets, on the suit of these Rockets here to defend these Hawks tonight.
Yeah, and I think some of the thought with the Rockets is that Christian Wood was a bit of a defensive liability, earlier last season, but he came around as the season went on, showed some improvement. So I don't think necessarily him leaving really. There's no real help coming defensively for this team. There's no, like you said, with the youth on this roster, there's nobody that's going to step in at the start of the year and really step up defensively. And this is just kind of a nightmare of a opening night matchup. The Hawks are going to be looking to roll here with their retooled offense. Maybe not quite as much scoring depth as we've seen from them in the past, but I just think the pace alone gives us a good shot at this one getting up into that. That's what you need when you have a total like this. You need both teams to be, really looking to push it, and I think that's what we're going to see here.
Yeah, two dance partners, no doubt about that. These young kids trying to get their numbers up, right? Their stats, because no one talks about their defense. They all talk about their points scored, their field goal percentage. Here we go. Rockets Hawks over total 234.5. Shop and get the best number. This one will have a start time here of 7:40 Eastern time. Probably one of the more entertaining games up there on tonight's card, with a lot of scoring projected, and it will probably hit, no doubt. All right, Sean, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Premium for tonight's action. Great results here from college football. 1,354 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium in college football. We do have a college football game on the board from the Sun Belt. More coming up this week, and we got college football this week, Wednesday through Saturday. We do have a lot of NBA, 12 games on the board from the NBA. Some hockey still up there, as well as one baseball game tonight. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Yeah, too much to mention, really. I've got four NBA on the go, and I've got a total in that Sun Belt matchup. So that's going to be the first of 3 weeknight college football plays here this week. We're off to a good 24-1 start to the season. So bit of regression here the last couple of weeks. Last Saturday went 3-2. The weeknight plays didn't go as well last week, so we'll look to kind of bounce back here this week. So I've got those 3 weeknight games packaged. And then I've also got a 5-game card up for Saturday already, and we'll look to likely add a play or two as well. So, I like to get those plays out early, because we know with the college football games, these lines move, especially the totals. You put them out on Tuesday, and then by Saturday you've got a much different number. So I recommend getting on board, with one of the long-term passes. I've actually got a NFL college football package put up there now for a month, where you get the full month for $229. So that's probably your best option if you're just interested in the football. Or, of course, I've got lots of other options with the weekly, monthly, 3-day, whatever you like. So lots of options out there.
That's right, guys. Get aboard with Sean Murphy over at Pick Dogs. Premium season numbers 1,354 units of profit. College football, that is all documented. A 5-pack right now is his featured play here. Putting together college football and NBA here on a Wednesday night. 5-pack credit guarantee. Must turn a profit or the amount you purchase is credited back into your account. That is credit guaranteed right now up on the board. You could buy the play individually right now with the Sun Belt total here from Sean. A lot of individual plays up here from college football, and as Sean was mentioning, he's getting these plays up early and get on board here with them right now. NBA as well up on the board here with Sean, and of course the long-term passes will serve you well if you just want to get his college football. If you just want to get his football coverage. NFL and college football here, as Sean was mentioning, $229 will get you all of his NFL and college football for 30 days, or over at Pick Dogs. Of course, you could use the promo code 15 off at checkout, and that will take 15% off there. So get on board there. Also, full pass. It's a really good value here. Full pass college football, $399. And that includes all the bowl games as well and playoffs. So a lot of good options there for you to get on board with Sean Murphy here with the full season pass. You want to add NFL to that, you can. There's also an NFL and college football season pass. But head over to Sean's page and remember to use the promo code 15 off at checkout, and you'll save 15% off there with Sean Murphy over at Pick Dogs. All right, Sean, as always, great having you show. Keep up our great work, but we know you also contribute to the weekend shows. We can catch your coverage here on the mornings here, Saturday and Sunday, with Mitch and the King.
Yeah, so those are great shows for anyone looking for the last minute advice. We're going through, each individual time block in the college football, and then NFL. We go through each and every game. So lots of analysis there on every game on the board. So check that out on the Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern.
All right, Padres fighting back here, Sean. 4-3. Nola gets a hit off Nola. That's a drive in a run. So it's 4-3. First and third one out. Padres looking to tie or go ahead here. We'll see how this one rolls. You got any skin in this one?
No, I've got no baseball today. To be honest, this baseball season hasn't gone my way for the most part, and I've picked a few spots here in the playoffs, but I've got nothing on the go. The plate's full enough with hockey, NBA, college football, NFL. So
that's right. And it's time to get the college basketball magazines out pretty soon, too. So here we go. All right, Sean, here we go. It's going to be a long night. All right, Sean, keep up the great work. We'll talk next week.
All right, thanks, Tony.
You got it. Sean Murphy here on the drive-thru. Guys, if you miss any of our picks, we'll recap here at the end of the show. Let's continue on. Interesting game here. We're coming up to with Rod Zawacky. Boy, this one has a line move, and I was wondering, I was overnight, I looked at the line, I was kind of like looking at it twice saying, what's going on here? This is a little too high based on the situation. But let's go ahead and bring in Rod Zawacky if I'm over at Pick Dogs Prim, where he does great work here. So let's bring him in right now. Rod, what's happening?
Yeah, not too much. As Chris said, we were just finishing up the hockey videos for tomorrow. We got a dozen hockey games, and we also going to introduce the new hockey parlay video.
Nice.
So check that out. It'll be available soon. So make sure you subscribe, like, do all that kind of stuff. So
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe so you get notification when new content comes out. So,
well, Padres have tied it up. Padres have tied it up at 4-4. Second and third, one out in the fifth. You got any skin in this one, Rod? You like that? You like the results? Like what you're seeing?
I like the Padres to tie it up, is what I said on the morning show. I got a little bit of skin on that. Not on a premium play, but I put a little bit of my money on it. So go Padres.
Let's go. All right, he's on the Padres. They've tied it up here at 4-4. 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out. I think they're calling. They've sent Nola to the showers here. Have the Padres, so we'll see some relief pitching. Middle relief. That's not a good sign for the Phillies.
What more?
Oh no, why not? You got the Phillies middle relief. You know, you got that's gold right there for you.
Good.
that's still good, right? Still no, good. They kept them in. It was just a visit to the mound.
Oh, yeah, so,
one more. Manny Machado up here. So we'll see if this one breaks open here.
Nice.
Yeah, we could break this one, although they may walk him. They might walk him here to load him up. We'll see. Anyway, we're back to this game here. Grizzlies here hosting the Knicks here. Memphis down overnight. It was 5.5 down to 4. Total 226.5.
Yeah, this is definitely a line mover, and I think it's a line mover for a good reason. You look at the Knicks on the road, 10-1 ATS. Their last 11 road games, and they fared well against Memphis, covering in 3 out of the last 4 meetings between these teams. And you look at the last meeting between his teams, it was a 4-point game. But when you dig a little deeper into that game, players that played in that game are not going to be playing in this game. You know, Jaren Jackson Jr., big loss for Memphis. He's going to be out a few months with injury. Also, Zaire Williams will be out. He was in that game as well. So that's two players. You're going to have a couple young guys trying to step up and with Ja and trying to get it going. And that's why the big line movement. So for me, I did get the Knicks way earlier at plus. You can take the plus points, but I think the Knicks got a good shot here. I like what they've done on the season. They brought in big addition Jalen Brunson they got from Dallas. And Dallas used him. They increased his minutes last season, and he stepped up and shined in that spot. I think he's going to be a great addition to this Knicks team. We have the same cast of characters: Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, huge on the glass, grabbing that rebound, and R.J. Barrett. Evan Fournier needs to step up and get some scoring, and that's the big thing there. And I think he does. I like the Knicks lineup. I think they come out strong here in this one, and I think they snag a win here over a short-headed Memphis team.
All right, we got Rod here on the Knicks here, +4 against the Grizzlies, who are hobbling out of the gates. We know the situation with Jaren Jackson. It's going to be a long-term injury for him. Green was doubtful. Brooks is another one who contributed a lot of points. Williams, as you mentioned, contributes with a lot of points here for the Memphis Grizzlies. And again, Brooks is doubtful. Green out, Jackson out, Zaire Williams out. Not a whole lot of depth in this Grizzlies lineup right now with those injuries here. And of course, as you mentioned, for the Knicks, you're starting now point guard now. Brunson has earned the point guard position based on his play in Dallas as it gets moved over here. We got Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett who can shoot, Julius Randle, and Robinson. Of course, the thing where they got to button up is they need to button up on that defense around the bucket.
And I think they will. I think Mitchell Robinson's he's gonna have a solid season, button up that the rebounds off of the glass there. I think they get what they want, and with the addition of Brunson, I think they come out hot and they prove a point. And I like the Knicks. I'd even sprinkle a little bit on the money line.
All
I
right.
think they got a good shot to outright him in this one. But
Knicks.
take the +4, safer bet.
Knicks +4 here against the Grizzlies. This one has a start time here of 7:40 Eastern time. All right, Rod, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium for tonight. Big card here from the NBA. 12-game card from the NBA. Let's don't forget the NHL. There's a handful of there as well. We got Game 1 ALCS, Yankees and the Astros, and the Sun Belt in action from college football. The Sun Belt, that's right. The Maction, well, you're getting overstaged here by the Sun Belt. They're giving you some midweek October games. We got to wait till November for the Maction. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
And going up over at Pick Dogs Premium, we're trying to make it 3 winning days in a row. We got a nice winning day yesterday. Swept the board on the ice. Swept my lone play and the Bookie Buster play with the Phillies yesterday. So we've got another one for you. Grab my $15 Bookie Buster, and that'll be on the ALCS game. Also, I have got my 10-star NHL Mega Money Blast. In the NHL, you can get these plays solely over at Pick Dogs Premium. I also have my 10-star Executive Info play on that college football game. And if you want all 3 plays, they're all over sold separately over at Pick Dogs Premium. Or grab my Mixed Sport Birdcage, where you'll get all 3 of those plays in that package there for you. Or now's the time. Grab a 3-day, grab a 7-day, grab a 30-day. As I said, if you grab a 3-day, that'll get you all the plays today, tomorrow, Friday, and most likely that'll get you all of my plays I got going in college football on Saturday, as I get them in on Friday. So that's a great deal. Or grab a 7-day and you'll get everything I got going today, or you'll get all of college football, all of the NFL, including all the NHL that's rolling along. Or grab a month, as we said, grab a month. College basketball will be included in that month, as we're getting right close to it, a couple weeks away from college hoops. Getting close. So, or we always got that 2-for-1 capper deal where you can pair me up with any one of the other hot cappers that you see on the show, or check over the leaderboards and find your other favorite capper to pair me up with. Anyway, let's make some money. Jump on over, use that promo code 15 off, save 15% off all your purchases, and let's continue to make some money.
That's right, guys. I get aboard here with Rod Zawacky over at Pick Dogs Premium. Great results here. 832 units of profit here last 7 days, all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium. Of course, Rod with his Mega Money Blast up there as his featured pick, so get on board there. Does have his $15 Bookie Buster for his $15 tied in MLB action. Credit guarantee, meaning it must win, or the amount you purchase is credit back in your account. That is credit guarantee. Also, Rod with individual plays from college football, mixed sports Birdcage, a 3-pack there from Rod with a mixed sports Birdcage. His top play from the NHL, college football, and MLB in a 3-pack. So it's his mixed sport Birdcage. Keep an eye on that one. And of course, as Rod was talking about, your best fight right now is definitely these long-term passes. Look at all the sports overlapping. We got postseason baseball. We got NBA starting with these monster cards. And we've got as well NHL, NFL, college football, and of course on November 7th we got college basketball now starting. So keep an eye there. A lot's going on here. Keep an eye on those teams that run on those European tours like Vanderbilt. Keep an eye on some of those teams that will have a little bit of advantage on the rest of them because they've been together playing overseas and building chemistry. So these are some of the tips that we'll give you here as we get closer and closer to college basketball. But it's time pretty soon to get those magazines. Roger just reminded me I have to go and get some subscriptions here for some of these magazines because it's already getting to that time of the period now where we got to start looking at college. The returning starters, the coaching changes. Oh my goodness, the transfers.
Oh, definitely right. The transfer portal, and you got to keep up. It's a daily thing, and it's here comes lack of sleep.
We're going to see those. Are we going to see those 64-ounce coffees? Your 64-ounce coffee. You're getting ready for the morning show with those 64-ounce.
Yeah, getting ready for my big coffee mug going.
Big coffee getting that ready. There we go. It's getting back. It's getting washed. It's getting washed. It's getting washed right now.
Bringing the big coffee mug back. Definitely, it's that time of year for the big coffee mug again. Love it, though. It's exciting. I love this time of year. We got so much sports, so much action. Where you get daytime sports, you get nighttime sports. As a sports fan, we go absolutely nuts. Love this time of year. Absolutely love it.
Oh, yes, definitely love it. Actually love it. Love it. ASUN day college basketball, MEAC mid-afternoon college basketball. Here it comes. All right, Rod. We'll catch you in the morning shows every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We'll check out your videos, you and Chris together with the Puck Dogs.
Yeah, definitely tune in. We had a good time this morning talking about chocolate, and also sometimes we run off the rails. But hey, have a good time. Got some good laughs, and we also give out some good winners. So tune in there, and also check out the Puck Dogs videos. Get all your hockey content there, and also definitely check out that new hockey parlay that me and Chris will be running. So we appreciate everybody. Thanks for the time. Hit that like button. Costs you nothing. Helps us out a ton. Appreciate everybody. Thanks for having me, Tony. And we'll see you again on Steak Friday.
Steak Friday. We'll see you on Steak Friday. Rod Zawacky here on the drive-thru. All right, guys. If you missed any of our picks, we will do a complete recap here at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Padres bases loaded, 2 outs. Hand just hit a batter, so it's still 4-4 bases loaded. I know Mitch is looking very closely at this game. He's got his eyeballs on this one to see how and I want to get his he'll chime in here as we bring him in right now here on the drive-thru. Check him out every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time here on the morning show. Mitch, what's happened? Looks like middle relief trying to rescue this team.
It's middle relief. We had Nola on, and Nola won that battle, and kind of got this Padres rally sparked. But the Phillies have managed to get that second out without the go-ahead run crossing the plate. But it's bases juiced here for Drury, who put one into the seats earlier in this game. So, certainly not out of the woods yet here with Hand. And 1-2 count. This is a hell of a game and a hell of a run by both these teams that have just absolutely scorched bankroll over the past week or so.
Yeah, the Phillies were tearing up left-handed pitching, and of course the Padres with the bounce back to make this a game, and now we're right here tied up bottom fifth, 4-4, 2 outs. So some excitement here in this baseball game. Maybe if it's like old school, if we get any in-game play from Mitch, anywhere you're leaning, maybe in this one.
I think this is Padres, and I don't think you can get the action until after this pitch, but throws one into the dirt, but blocked by Real Muto. So 2-2 count here. I think that the Padres are really showing resiliency in this game. They could have easily packed it up. It was 4-0. It was a tough conditions that they were out there in, and they said it at the time. And most people know I don't listen to a lot of the just so happened and other stuff. I changed the channel on TV. The sound was on, and they said this is one of those days where you cannot see the ball if it's just popped up into the field, and they're telling everybody to run everything out. No matter what it is, and to just keep on running on pop flies. And that's exactly what the Phillies did, and got those 4 runs with really only one hard hit ball in the bunch, and that one was one that would be an easy routine fly ball that Soto lost it in the sun and had to basically duck. He was afraid he was going to get hit by the ball. This has been a hell of a game.
Full count, high leverage situation for the middle relief. This is a disaster situation for the Phillies. You didn't want to be here in this spot with middle relief, high leverage here, bases loaded, 3-2 count in hand on the mound. This is a tough spot for the Phillies here.
Foul ball. This is where you usually see one thrown in the dirt down to the screen. This is where it happens. That's where generally it happens. But both these teams are pretty aggressive, though, swinging the bat. So I have a feeling that Drury's going to put this ball into play, and it's going to either be find the hole, find the seats, or he's going to be out of Dodge in a hurry.
Yeah, it should be interesting. All right, so Mitch will give us some updates as we look at this one here. Timberwolves here to host the Thunder. Timberwolves here laying 10.5, total 225.
Yeah, I like the Thunder buddies. I just think that there's a few of these teams, as the ball bloops into center field, one run in, and another run has scored. Soto in. It is 6-4 Padres. But anyways, back to this one. Thunder buddies. We rode the Thunder buddies last year to an absolute cover machine, and I'm just not ready to get off the horse just yet. There are a few big tonight in NBA action. Of course, you always have to tread lightly, regardless of the sport, at the beginning of the season, except maybe the Razorbacks in college basketball. Have you ever? I mean, these guys are loaded. But the thing is that that in this game, that the Thunder, this is exactly what they did last year. Is they played in games like this, getting ridiculous point spreads like this against teams that they were overmatched against. And they just continue to find a way. And I think the Thunder do the same thing this year. And I think the Thunder, once again, I think the expectations as far as wins and losses should be on the low. So could be getting that number 1 overall draft pick that everybody wants. But the thing is that, they're going to cover a lot of spreads because, once again, it's that public sympathy and the stigma that's attached to them. Thunder buddies for life.
Thunder buddies for life here. We got Mitch here on the OKC Thunder here. And, of course, they're getting 10.5 here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. An interesting note here, the total has come down. When you think about Timberwolves games, you think about, high scoring and high flying. And, but we did see the total come down a bit here, down here. Let me look it up here to 225. Let's sit about 227 on the overnight. Matter of fact, this total opened up 231. So it has been crashing down 6 points. And I think people are looking here at the Thunder trying to work inside, but now you got Gobert and Towns. And interesting, will this be a team that's better on defense? Will it continue to run up and down the court? What kind of style do you really see from this team with the Gobert coming over?
Well, the Padres hit parade continues, 7-4 for the Fathers. It is, I think that this is a great move for them because we know that Towns and Gobert, now you have basically twin towers up front. So, if one of these guys needs to take a break, the other guy can play. And then also you have these situations where they can play together. And, I think that, D'Angelo Russell, is the forgotten man here. And this guy is good. I mean, he was a number 3 overall pick the year that he came out. And had he not had his iPhone on in the locker room, he might still be on the Lakers. I mean, who knows what the story would be with him. It doesn't mean that he's not that good of a player on the floor. And what we saw from Edwards last year in the playoffs is that he took his new level and showed he has superstar caliber stuff. And, he can be that player. Whether he's going to become the guy that we saw last night shooting 3-pointers from his back and, everything else, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see something like that again. To me, what we saw from Steph Curry last season, last night, I mean, this guy, he is on a different level. But I think what we saw from Edwards last year in the playoffs, when he really was called upon to do it the most, he really elevated his game. And we saw him, start scoring in the 30s. And that's what you expect from a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, that's all. And, of course, tough break here for OKC as they lose their first pick, Holmgren, out here for the season. What are these kids doing playing so much basketball in the summer?
Well, I mean, you got to figure that, in real life situations, these guys are playing all of them anyways, and Holmgren just a little fragile, kind of a Sean Bradley type. I love that pick. I mean, if he can stay healthy and play, he has all the skills. But imagine if you can get the number 1 overall pick this year and get the guy name we can't pronounce, right? Wembanyama, right? You get him and Holmgren coming in at the same time. It's like having 2 number 1 overall picks. I mean, it would be gigantic for this Thunder team. They're not going anywhere anyway this year, so it might actually be a help to them. Even though, Holmgren obviously could use the experience, but I think, a guy like him doing rehab, putting on some bulk, doing these sort of things,
eating.
I hate to make this kind of analogy, but a few months ago, my dog had surgery, and I didn't think he was ever going to be able to walk normally again. And I've been holding it back, and people have asked me, they've heard him, in the background after the surgery, yelping in the background, crying in pain, and he had, it just has that. He's just applied himself during physical therapy. He's applied himself every day, running an obstacle course that we built for him in the house and doing all these different things and jumping in the pool and doing laps. And he is stronger than he's ever been. And I think that, a guy like Chet Holmgren, who has been light and he's been, all these different things. I think that it can't hurt him to take some time, maybe even more time than he needs, to bulk up and to be an NBA ready player, because the skills are there. It's the physical attributes that might not be. And height is one thing, you coach that, but you can't be 180 pounds in the NBA, and no matter how tall you are. I mean,
I still
LeBron
remember
James
Sean. You remember the Sean Livingston injury, right? And then you look at Rubio when he banged knees with Kobe, right? They were just so young and so fragile at that stage of the career.
Yeah, and we see so many of these bigger players, the taller guys, have these early in their career. Greg Odom, Bill Walton, and on and on and on. Sam Bowie, on and on and on. The guys that have these type of injuries early in their career, and it lags their entire career. I think that they're way better off getting him right. And it's like, you have a talented player, you're not going anywhere. So it could be the best thing that happened.
Yeah, it could be in that situation, no doubt about that. So Mitch here on the Thunder plus 10.5 here against the OKC Thunder. Mitch, before we get to what we always like to do a little college basketball run around here with Mitch. But before we do that, let's just do the recap so we get that in, and we'll come back with Mitch here in a second here. So let's get here on the. With Mitch here, we'll go to the recap here, show the picks for today's action. We started off with Chris. Chris liked Jalen Green over 3.5 3-point shots made at plus 140. Big L on the Spurs at a pick 'em against the Hornets. El Ninos was the Jazz plus 7 against the Nuggets. Sean was on the Rockets Hawks over 234.5. Rod Zawacky Knicks plus 4 against the Grizzlies. Mitch on the Thunder plus 10.5 against the T-Wolves. I'm on the Wizards Pacers over 227. All right, Mitch, other than your pick, which one do you like the best?
I will go with the Knicks plus the 4.
Knicks plus the 4, and I think so too. That's the one I was looking at.
I think it's a 2-point game. 2-point Memphis win.
A lot of Memphis injuries there to the supporting cast, and of course Brunson over to the Knicks, leaving Dallas. Some people think Christian Wood is going to be better than Brunson. What do you think with that move here with Dallas? Do you think Dallas got better this year?
Yeah, Dallas is just continuing to get better every single year. And I love the Luka Doncic over rebound prop tonight. He's just one of those guys that's just always in the right position. And he makes it look like it's luck that he gets the rebound or the ball just casually bounces to him. But it's called being in the right place at the right time, because that's what you've done the work to get there. As another walk here to the Padres, reload the bases here with 2 outs.
Yeah, as we said, middle relief in these high leverage situations, disaster. The disastrous situation has hit the Phillies, exposing the worst of their bullpen in the middle relief, and they're getting pounded.
Well, to make
here.
matters worse, Trent Grisham is up here, and he's not a great bases loaded hitter, but I'll tell you what, I don't think he's ever been hitting better than he has lately. So While it's 7-4, if you could in-game this at bat, I would go for a minimum of 2 RBIs and put a little on the grand slam here because the Padres are feeling it right now.
Yep,
they let them back. You can't let these playoff games. You just can't leave that crack in the door open. Especially when you have the big lead. Very, very hard to gain momentum. And I always say this about football teams too. When they take their foot off the gas and they kind of do it a little too early and comes all the way back, very hard to put your foot back on the gas. Especially now, they're deep into the Phillies bullpen too. What are you gonna do? It's like Zach Wheeler pitched yesterday. You can't throw him in long in relief and Suarez or something. It's like you really have nothing, and this has been the issue with the Phillies. They've gotten great mileage.
And you're going to look at Musgrove here in Game 3, possibly, who's been on fire as well. So it's a tough flight for the Phillies, thinking they were up 4-0, looking at 2-0, stealing 2 in San Diego. It's not going to be possibly not. It's not over yet. But the Padres.
There's hope for the Phillies because Nick Martinez is warming up in the bullpen.
That's right. It is the middle relief right now, trying to get this game over to the closers.
Ray of hope. The ray of hope in the form of Nick Martinez.
That's right. And, of course, with the Phillies bats, they have a shot here. They've been torching lefties in that. We saw what they did to Max Fried, and they got a good outing here against Blake Snell. But interesting if you still see Snell in this series, the way the Phillies have been hitting left-hander. We'll see how deep it goes. But so far, a big inning here, again, for the Padres, still up here with the bases loaded. Mitch, what we always like to do is we kind of go off the rails here, looking at some college football. We'll look at one here with Syracuse and Clemson here. Clemson here now 13.5 up from 13 against Syracuse.
Yeah, Clemson is just such a good team this year. Very, 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 very tough. And, it's Syracuse. I think they're a team on the brink. I just don't know if they have what it takes to beat the Cuse. I think this game is probably somewhat competitive, but I think in the end, what we've seen from Clemson is they've been putting teams away.
One here from the Big Ten, Iowa at Ohio State. Ohio State opened 27.5. The line has now moved to 30.5 in a lot of places. The total's gone up about a point to 49.5.
I'm going to take a punt on Iowa on the money line on this one. This is my type of game.
Wow, that's a big return there, Mitch. That's a big return. All right. Houston and Navy. Navy 2 years in a row off the bye has shown improvement covering off the bye again this year. We've got Houston now 3. There's 2.5 in some places, total 51.5.
So not a true buy for Navy. They played a weeknight game against SMU, and so it was not a true buy.
Oh no, I'm saying it's what they've done is when they had their bye early in the season, like they did last year, they came on. They had a bye, I think, after week 2, and they've covered since. So we've seen the team again improve after their bye week, 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
2 season row.
Navy's been looking good recently, and I wouldn't be rolling against them anytime soon. Bishop hit one just extremely hard there, and of course, count fully juiced here with the bases loaded as well.
Wow, still looking to add more here.
This is a game. FS1 getting their money's worth out of this one.
Yeah, they certainly are.
A lot of commercials.
Kansas and Duke here.
More runs in this than a Broncos game.
There is. Yeah, that's right. That is right. Kansas at Baylor here. Baylor is holding steady here. Well, actually, no, they were open 8.5 down to 8 and 7.5 in some places.
Yeah, Kansas, obviously the quarterback issues, and Baylor, not playing up to their level where they could be this season. I think this one is pretty interesting. I would probably lean to Baylor.
Duke is a team that's shown improvement here. They're going to be on the road here facing Miami. Miami about 9.5 up from 8.5 in this one.
Yeah, if you lay 9.5 with Miami, you're a better man than me. I took Virginia Tech with the points last week just for the same reason. I think Miami's going to win a lot of games, and I think they're really headed in the right direction. I think the program, despite the loss to Middle Tennessee, despite the loss to North Carolina, the Texas A&M game that they could have won, and the North Carolina game they could have won too. But this is a program that's headed in the right. I've seen it before, so I have a lot more faith in this one than I have in some of the other regimes they've had in recent years. We saw, Jimmy Johnson, his first season at Miami. The last 4 games of the season, they got absolutely shredded, including that Flutie game, that Gaston Green game against UCLA, the Frank Reich game against Maryland, blowing a 31-point halftime lead. So we saw all those games in that year, and then the next year, they were basically unbeatable for the next 3-4 years. So sometimes he hasn't been left a full house of players. From Miami is that they have more players coming in the top 300 than any other program in the country in Cristobal's first 2 recruiting classes there. So they're only going to get better. And I think, I think Van Dyke not as good as some of the preseason hype.
All right.
I think Miami wins. I just don't think they cover.
All right. We got Texas and Oklahoma State going head to head here. We've got Texas open 3 now, jumped up to 6.5. A total sits here down here from 64 down to 61. Spencer Sanders' accuracy has been kind of hit the last few weeks.
It has been, but Texas certainly no gem either. I mean, they didn't look so great with State. They barely escaped with the win in that one. I think they beat Alabama in hindsight, but it really doesn't matter. There's way too many points in this game. I got to go the other way. I think another one where you can maybe bet the money line as well.
Ole Miss at LSU, open pick. LSU getting the money now. LSU now up to 2.5 at the really sharp offshore books right now. Total 67.5.
Yeah, I'm on Ole Miss in this one. I think that what the sharp number has come and gone in this game. I think what we see from the sharps is they bet the number, and that number was LSU plus. And now that it's LSU minus, I think the sharp money has come and gone. I think Ole Miss was the play here anyway to begin with.
UCLA and at Oregon. Oregon opens 6, still holding 6 in most spots. There are some 6.5s, some 5.5s as well in this one. So it's all over the place. The total is between 71 and 69.5 right now.
Got to stop Charbonnet on the ground for Oregon, but I think that the Ducks, at home, just a different animal, and I think they can be had, but I don't think they can be had by UCLA. I like Oregon.
Alabama going to be laying 21 at home to Mississippi State.
Yeah, Alabama, has not looked that great this season. The writing was kind of on the wall in that Texas game. We saw them play dirty in that game, and then this past week against Tennessee, really vulnerable against the pass, and the same type of stuff here against Mississippi State. They're going to be trying to top, isolate wide receivers on the safety. And when they do that, gave up a touchdown every single play against Tennessee that happened.
All right, we got Minnesota at Penn State. Penn State holding steady at -4 total, 44.5.
This one should be a good game too. I think that this one could be within that number. It's probably a lean to Minnesota with the points, but a lean at best.
All right, we've got Kansas State at TCU. This has been a line mover. TCU opens 6 now down to 3.5 total, 54.
I generally try and avoid teams that wear the same color uniforms. I get confused that I'm not sure who I'm rooting for some of the times if I put it on the small TV. So I try and avoid these. But I think Kansas State probably not a bad play. They just seem to find a way, and against a team like TCU, who I think they're vulnerable. It just seems that Kansas State does the fundamentals a little better.
Yeah, Utah State there's a lot of money in Wyoming. They opened to 3.5. They're up to 5 now. This is one of the line moves of late night here against a Utah State team that's shown improvement.
They have improved. Utah State knocked off
Air Force?
Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Air Force recently. But, overall, it's like, what Utah State team are we really going to get? Wyoming, though, same thing. As the Phillies get back up to the plate, Bryce Harper hits one to the base of the wall and slides into second for a leadoff double as Nick Martinez is capable of doing
there we
with
go.
a 3-run lead, 6th inning.
Middle relief. The middle relief here is ready to screw it up.
I'm telling you, Nick, the ray of hope Martinez. He is a ray of hope.
Yep, no doubt about that. All right, Mitch, we got through some of the marquee games here in college football. Mitch and Chris and Romanelli with their college football show tomorrow. I know you, Jay and Al McMordie, Big Al with the NFL today.
Yeah, we had a good time with it, and I think that we haven't really done the show. This is our first year through, so I think that the chemistry is getting better on the show too. We kind of know what to expect from each other, and with Jay being kind of the young gun, he doesn't have a lot of the historical references that Al and I do, so we kind of use that to our advantage to give him a hard time. So it's fun.
It's funny because the first time
he didn't know about the '86 Bears.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't understand the '86 Bears.
You ready for this one? You ready for this one? We were doing some NBA season win total on one of the slower weeks, right? And he goes, "Yeah, he was talking about the current crop of players." He goes, I never saw Jordan play."
It's like, wow. Oh, I know. The thing is that he's not the only one. It's a weird thing because it's like in our industry and stuff, he's not the only one, and that a lot of those guys are the Kobe generation.
Yes.
Right? And he's probably even post-Kobe. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember growing up when people, I had never seen Magic play. What? And now we have the Kobe play. Now I never seen, something, right? Jordan.
I mean, I'm so old. I remember John Havlicek on CBS Sports, and all the games on the weekends were on at like 2 p.m. for the NBA Finals.
Jerry West. Well, no, they would out west. They delayed the games. If you're out east, you would get the games live, and we would get the games after the local news at 11:30 Pacific time. So that was, and it would be live. The Lakers would play at 8:30 Pacific time, 11:30 Eastern time on their playoff games. They would televise them live to the East, and we would have to wait 3 hours later to watch the game.
Wow. How it's changed.
Well, local news still holds the gun. They still hold it, right? They still hold it to everybody.
Absolutely. Local news rules the day.
It rules the day. And even now and back in the day, it did too. No doubt about that. Mitch, lots going on over at Pick Dogs. What's the latest?
We're still working on a lot of things. We have a new design that's going to be coming out shortly. I don't know how long it's going to take. Become a Capper contest that we haven't forgotten about, and it will be coming up soon. Of course, there'll be plenty of advertising for that. A lot of things going on at Sports Chat Place, and of course, college basketball season rolling out. I've been a lot more consistent with the newsletter, trying to walk everybody some of the betting tools each day. There's a lot of information there, so not a lot of time to cover it on a show or even in the newsletter. But I just figured the more times I get to mention it, maybe a little bit more keeps soaking in, and hopefully, those become an effective part of everybody's handicapping. We're just trying to get people on winners. It's like we have all different types. Tony has been on YouTube longer than I have, believe it or not, and the thing is that Tony will tell you the same thing. It's like we're not fans of the game. I mean, we're fans at a certain point, but these shows these aren't fan shows. So it's like just because I say something critical about a team doesn't mean anything one way or the other. It's like I'm all about winning the bet, and I think telling us who you had yesterday and that our pick was stupid really doesn't help us at all. I mean, I know when a pick is stupid because I bet it. It hurts me in the bankroll. So, I don't bet all my free picks, but we bet premium picks. We have a credit guarantee. We have the 15% off, all those certain things. 2-for-1 Capper specials. My microphone is in the picture. Anyways, I moved my microphone up here to up top.
Up top, huh? Okay.
I moved it. I did it during the morning show because it was like you can't see some of the stuff behind me. You couldn't see the Colonel.
You got the Colonel up there.
Colonel Sanders. Yeah, you had to see I couldn't see the Colonel, so he was blocked by the arm. So I moved it up.
There was a very famous picture. Must have been 40 or 50 years ago. I saw it on one of my timelines on one of my social media networks. I looked at it, and Colonel Sanders and Alice Cooper took a picture together about 40 or 50 years ago, back in somewhere in Amsterdam. Someone put the picture. It was pretty funny.
The Colonel never really made any big money off fried chicken. He had sold it, and he just
he started the business in his mid-60s.
Yep.
That was something. That's some history there with the Colonel there, no doubt about that. And I want to get your thoughts here on the games we saw in the NBA last night with the Celtics, Sixers, and the Lakers and Warriors.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts here. What you saw between the games last night in the NBA with the Celtics and Sixers and the Lakers and Warriors. What caught your attention?
It was weird because I turned on the Warriors game and I saw James Wiseman on the court. I had to check to see if I was seeing things properly, but he's actually really good. I mean, he's really good. If he stays healthy, the Warriors are going to be a better team than they were last year. And I think, the Sixers and the Celtics are going to be in that same battle, and I think the East is wide open this year. I think, the Heat, they can stay healthy. I think, the Celtics, obviously, the Bucks, the same cast
team.
of characters. And then you have the Raptors and the Cavs that are, that play tonight, that, two real up-and-comers that, could be a thorn in the side and could be like last year's Phoenix Suns. I mean, they certainly have the talent there to do it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And, of course, then the Lakers are, I thought with Beverly in there, the starting five is a little better, but, again, it's probably one of the weakest benches in the league. You look at the bench scoring night tonight, you're going to see a lot of pressure here on the starting five.
Anthony Davis looks a little less of like Frankenstein trying to walk these days, so maybe he's feeling a little bit better. Last year, he just seemed like he couldn't bend his legs.
Yeah, that's no doubt about that. All right, Mitch, as always, great having the show. We'll tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll check in all the video series that you produce with your props, as well as the college football show tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate all of you. Smash that like button. Be sure to tune in, grab all our free information. Thanks, Tony.
You got it. Mitch here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the show, guys. You got my pick here. It was during the recap, and I believe this game is already underway because we got the NBA underway. So let's go back and review the recap as we had done about 5 minutes to the top of the hour. We always do this little rundown with college football with Mitch here during college football season. So let's go ahead and go to the show picks here once again. We had Chris on Jalen Green over 3.5 3-point shots made at plus 140. Al McMordie here's the Spurs at a pick-up against the Hornets. Ninos was on the Jazz plus 7 against the Nuggets. Sean Murphy, Rockets, Hawks over 234.5. Rod here was on the Knicks. This one starts actually at 740, so this one's still in play here. Knicks plus 4 against the Grizzlies. Mitch here was on the Thunder plus 10.5 against the T-Wolves. I was on the over here, which has started, but we had recapped it for you earlier on with the over 227 Wizards and the Pacers. All right, that'll do it here for this edition of the Drive-Thru, guys. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow live here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring in all the cappers here from Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Plays to give out all the plays here on the show. And don't forget all the live shows and all the video series now at Pick Dogs. You got the morning show here with Mitch, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Mitch, Rod, and Chris. And don't forget the college football pick show that was the college football show here for tomorrow. The NFL show was shot today with Jay, Mitch, and Big Al McMordie. The Puck Dogs with Chris. They have the Puck Dogs NHL parlay as well. Lots of video picks there from the NHL from Chris and Rod. Romanelli's rundown. Also, we've got the MMA show here with a UFC show on UFC weekends on Saturdays with Mills and Brad Francis. So lots happening over at Pick Dogs. So guys, make sure you check it out. Also, I just want to address a comment. Someone asked me about overs. A lot of overs hitting in the NBA. Let's see if we can pull that one up here. I did get a comment about that earlier on here. Let me just address it here. I think we saw the overs. I don't really have much data on the overs hitting, and I don't really look at some of these overs here. You overs hit more early in the NBA season since teams are fouling more because they're just not used to the pace. I believe all the overs hit yesterday, and I like a lot of the overs today. You can see I like the over. Sean likes an over, and I have to agree with that statement. I don't have the data to back it, but just from my eye test, I do see the pace is becoming more and more faster in the NBA as the league's getting younger. And, of course, those three-point shots. And if you look at the teams like the Denver Nuggets, they shoot the ball quickly. Pass, shoot. That's really what it is. So you're starting to see it now, teams with their guards, they're handling, and the big men that can shoot. That's been another big change in this league in the three-point shot. People know the corner three, the catch-and-shoot three. Those are things that are really watched very carefully here in the NBA. And the teams that can perform at high levels from the corner threes and the catch-and-shoot threes, those are the teams that perform well. All right, looks like the Padres got out of the jam, so 7-4 to the bottom here of the sixth. So they got out of the little jam there, so the Padres held the lead still. All right, that's going to do it for the drive-thru. I'd like to we'll bring in our crew from today's show. We're going to wave goodbye to you guys. You guys have a great evening.